In the legal world, there is a combination of forces that feed a corrupt and suffocating legal system for attorneys. Law schools, law professionals, judges, and even the firms themselves for whom you work create a system, a matrix, if you will, that is nothing like what you thought when you passed the bar exam. The purpose of this podcast is to help you escape this legal matrix, leading you out of the proverbial desert to be free of the bondage of the matrix. Hosted by Bryce D. Nyer, attorney at law with over 30 years experience in the trenches of civil and criminal litigation at the state, federal, and international levels. He's a highly accomplished and resourceful legal professional, a true master of his craft, and he's here to help you get your life back. Here's your host, Bryce D. Nyer.
Okay, here we go, folks. It's another episode of Escaping the Legal Matrix with yours truly, Bryce D. Nyer, coming at you from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg, now called Fort Liberty. But I'll never call it that. It's always Fort Bragg to me, always will be, always has been, past, present, and the future. So, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the number 40. Before and after additions and deletions, subtractions. And what does that mean? Well, let's think about it. Let's talk about it. So you're going along in your life, and I'm not sure where each of you are at this point. Obviously, different places, different ages, different careers, professions. Some married, some divorced, some separated, some dealing with addictions, some dealing with major pits in their life. Some may be on top of the world. But something occurred to me this morning after listening to a documentary. And in the documentary, a very famous movie star, which I'm sure you've heard of him, Sylvester Stallone, also known as Sly. And in his documentary, and I want to always give the proper credit, he talks about that as he grew older, or as people grow older, and they approach 40, they're always adding something to their life. Then after 40, it's just things are getting subtracted from your life. And I thought about that. I thought about that statement and how profound it was. And I started thinking about it in terms of the four domains that we've spoken about before in body, being, balance, and business. Those are the four domains that a legal warrior would look at. And it just couldn't escape me this morning after, hearing that statement. And I began to just sit there and I thought about my life. And I thought, as a kid, you're gaining things, you're gaining friends, you're gaining academics, you're adding relationships, you're progressing from elementary school to middle school to high school to college, or maybe going in the military or starting a job or some other professional career. And then during your 20s, you always think you'll live forever, and you're adding more relationships. Maybe you're getting married, and by your 30s, maybe you're having kids, adding kids. You've added new jobs. You maybe added a new location where you moved to. And then you get to this age of 40. And 40 seems to be where people try and be still 25 or 30. Some people, you say, 40 is a new 25. I'm like, bullshit. No, it's not. No, it's not. If you're 40, you're 40. If you're 25, you're 25. Now, maybe you look great physically. Maybe you're in super shape. You really look like you're well kept, well preserved. Unless some of you had some plastic done and with the faces are us and got all puttied up. But after 40, it's true. I mean, things change. Like if you've been married and you go through divorce, well, then now you've lost a spouse, and maybe for good reason. And maybe your relationship with your kids is strained. Maybe your kids don't talk to you anymore, or maybe they've grown up and they're in their teenage years and they're hanging out with their friends instead of really being with you, and things you start to get subtracted from your life. And it's just this interesting thing that I thought of today about, my whole life. And, and after you reach that 40 mark, things do. I mean, allegedly, for at least guys, you start losing muscle mass, your testosterone levels start to decrease. All these studies of certain percentages, again, of the loss of muscle and, all these things. And for women too, eventually they approach, menopause. And then they get into the age of where, childbearing years are risky, high-risk pregnancies. And they may lose the ability to add further children unless they adopt them or they take a chance on a high-risk pregnancy. And it was just this interesting concept of, this mark is as you go through life, you're building and building and adding and adding and adding. And then at a certain age, things start getting subtracted. And I even thought about that in terms of my friends that I've grown up with or went to college with or served in the Army with or went to law school with. Or that I've known in my professional career as an attorney, and how many are gone? How many are gone? They've passed away. They're dead. They're gone. I can't talk to them anymore. I can't be with them. Can't share dinner with them, a drink, a holiday. Even some of my family members, they're gone. My parents are gone. My brother's gone. One of my sisters is gone, and they're just gone. And some of them, were young. Some of them were in their 20s or their 30s. Others were older. Some of it was unexpected. And I just started looking, and I'm like, if you added all this up in debits and credits, you start to look at that life truly is short, and everything is a debit and a credit. And the thing about the legal matrix, this is the thing. See, the legal matrix doesn't have a soul. It does not have any soul whatsoever. It just doesn't. It doesn't care who you care about. It's not concerned. It doesn't understand the word love or like or the fact of win, lose, or it's just all consuming. And that's the way the legal profession is. And this is what I've been trying to tell all of you that are, wanting to go to law school, or perhaps you are a law student, or you've been out of law school for a couple of years and you're still young. You think that you're adding to your life, when in reality, the legal matrix is slowly infecting you and it's taking things away from your life. You're losing time with all these deadlines and dealing with attorneys and judges and clients and all of this bullshit that just goes into being a lawyer. And it doesn't have to be that way, but that's the way it was built and structured. And pretty soon, when time is gone, it's gone. You can't make time up. It's just gone. Yesterday's gone. Today is here and tomorrow hasn't arrived. You've got to remember that. And the legal matrix, you continue in this profession and you think, I'm adding to my 401k. I'm adding toward a partnership career track. I'm investing my monies. I'm buying a beach house. I'm buying a new car, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? Houses blow down in tornadoes and hurricanes and floods. Cars age out. They break down. They don't hold their value. They start depreciating when you drive off the car lot. And that's true. That's true unless you happen to find some great antique that's in super shape. But all these shiny things in life, they just fade away. You think you're adding, but you're not. They disappear and they go away. And then you reach a point in your age, you're like, they don't really give anything back to you. They don't take care of you when you're sick. They don't hug you when you're like, you need a hug, if that's what you need. They're not there to motivate you. They just sit there. They're inanimate. And that's what the legal matrix is. It's inanimate. But it really does live, but it's inanimate. It feeds on destruction. It feeds on stress. It takes and 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 it keeps taking as long as you let it take. Your debits and credits are controlled by the legal matrix in the legal profession. And that's a fact. And you will find as you progress in your legal career or, whatever industry you're in, your matrix, if you allow it, will control every aspect of your body, your being, your balance, and your business until you have no credits left and you're in debit land. And when you're in debit land, you're drowning. You're drowning. Your body's surrendering. It's losing any vitality. Your balance with your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, family members, best friends, whatever, it's floundering. They're just not there anymore. Your being, you forgot who God was long ago because you caved into the worldly things. And your business, it's tanking. Your employees have walked out the door because you're not producing and you're not leading because you allowed the debits to pile up. You allowed things and people and the important people and the important things in your life to be taken away. And see, that's what the legal matrix does. This is what I'm trying to tell you. If you allow this legal profession, this chaos, this insanity, this cesspool of intolerance to control every aspect of your life, you will be bankrupt in being. You will be bankrupt in balance. You will be bankrupt in body, and you will be bankrupt in business. I am watching this all the time with some of my colleagues. Two of my colleagues that I am assisting in leading and coaching, if coaching is what I'm calling it, I can't believe it. They've been in this profession for years, for as long as I can remember, and they're falling apart. They think all these years now, 20, 30 years later, whatever, that they have added something to their life, only to find out right now that they built their foundation on sand, and now it's all crumbling. It's all crumbling. See, people will hang out with you and be with you when you're successful and they can get something from you. That's a fact too. But the minute that you're just Mr. or Mrs. Debit, nobody wants to be around you because you can't give anything. You can't even give to yourself. And this becomes a problem. And it becomes a problem because you're allowing it to destroy any semblance of who you are. I need you to see this. I need you to look in the mirror. I need you to take that deep look and say, in my body, in my being, in my balance, in my business, am I adding or am I subtracting in those four domains for me? And if you can answer those questions honestly, then you're going to be able to realize where you are and where you need to be. See, I went through life like this. I did. I didn't pay attention. I thought I was paying attention, but the legal matrix just continued to consume my time and my efforts and my energies. And it was just one deadline after another and one case after another, one client after another, and trial after trial and hearing after hearing, and just never going away till I felt like I was on this merry-go-round where I just wasn't going to get off until one day I was like, that's it. That's it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to let the legal matrix continue to take and take and take and take and take and take and put me in such debt in body, being, balance, and business that I'll never be able to crawl out. And I was in this place, in this pit, and I didn't know how to get out. I just didn't know how to get out. I had nothing left. And when I joined certain organizations and had people that could lead, that could give me the skill sets that said, your life doesn't have to be this way in body, being, balance, and business. It does not have to be the way that it is. But in order to course correct, you have to take action. You have to be bold. You have to be ruthlessly committed in all four of these domains. You can't just sit back and cry and whine and bitch about it and then think something is going to change and something new will happen, because it doesn't. And I learned that the hard way. These past couple years for me, and it will take this for you, has been a transformation. It's been a pivot, and it's never ending. You can't ever quit. You can't ever take your foot off the gas pedal. There's always something or somebody trying to debit your body, being, balance, and business. They're trying to take it. The legal matrix and the legal profession, if they can take it and run with it and keep it and consume it, they will. They will not. The legal matrix does not know the word surrender. It just knows to attack, to attack, to attack, to attack. And for most people, for most lawyers, for most law students, they do not know how to fight the legal matrix. They do not understand what it takes to lead themselves. Hell, they can't even lead others, but let alone lead themselves out of the legal matrix. And see, I sit here and I used to be like trying to lead my teams, lead my firm, lead my clients, stuff. And all the while, in my body being balanced in business, it was just all a shitstorm. It was just a storm. And, in that world of where I was to where I could be, okay, this presented a major problem for me. Because the legal matrix just doesn't care. It tries to tear down all of the walls in the body being balanced in business. And that's what it will do. And you've got to rise up, you've got to be bold, you've got to have courage, you've got to have the skill sets, and you have to understand what you're at war with. And it's not just the legal matrix you're at war with. You are at war with you. You're at war with you every day. You have to get up in the morning and you have to rise and you have to stand and you have to say, go, go, go. And see, I wasn't doing that for a long time. And eventually, when you awaken, if you're blessed, and you wake the hell up, you will see the paths and the possibilities in body being balanced in business. But if you don't wake up, you will continue down this path, especially after you turn 40. And you will turn 40, unless you're dead. Okay? I mean, some people do die before they're 40, obviously. But if you make it to that point, you're going to see this instrumental change in your life. Everybody does. Everybody tries to hang on to youth in the past, but that's not going to happen. It's just impossible. It's not going to happen. And you've got to now create new credits in your life. Because people will come and go in your life, money will come and go, shiny things will come and go, and your health may come and go. And your health is key. But you've got to stand up and take that bold, courageous, ruthless commitment to separating yourself from the legal matrix. And it does take effort. It does take energy. It does take time. And you have to constantly, every day, do a self-audit. I mean, hell, the IRS audits people. Your finances get audited. Everybody and everything gets audited in life. But the one thing people don't do is they don't do a self-audit. You have to do a self-audit. It's critical to everything you do. If you don't know where you are right now, if you don't know the facts of your life, then how are you possibly going to figure out where you need to go? And see, most people don't do that. Lawyers don't do that. They just sedate. They binge watch Netflix, or they drink, or they watch porn, or they do drugs, or they're depressed, or something else, because the legal matrix feeds on that till they destroy them. See, the legal matrix has an endless supply of victims. There are over 200 law schools right now in the United States, and I'm not even counting the ones overseas. And then you have the unaccredited law schools, because there's this flood of people that always say, I want to go to law school. And that's what they say, I want to go. And so the legal matrix already has them because it's an addiction. It's their ego they're feeding. They think they're already lawyers the minute they get an acceptance letter, and they're not. They're not anything. They're potential victims. And then when they get into law school, they think they've got it all figured out. And they're drinking the Kool-Aid, man. They're drinking that Kool-Aid. It's sweet, tastes good, it's yummy. And all the while, they're building debits. Their credits are going down, and they just don't realize it. You law students right now have the golden opportunity right here, right now, before you take the bar exam, before you accept that job, to understand the legal matrix and the legal profession before it draws you in and kills you. You young lawyers right now that have just been out a few years, pounding the pavement, making the money for the partners, where they're basically feeding you the table scraps, a certain percentage, or maybe you're just on salary and beating your brains out. Now think about this. For those of you that have been out for a few years and think you're adding to your life, with the credits, did the partners really take you to court? Did they train you? I mean, did they do any of that? Or did they just throw you in a room, tell you you're on your own, give you a little bit of advice, and you've been on your own? Well, what the hell is the difference then if you just go ahead and open your own firm and eat what you kill? You can pay yourself whatever you want to, depending upon the cash you keep. You can hire the staff you want. If you don't want staff, you can fire them. You're not stuck with somebody that you don't want. You can determine what areas of law you want. You can determine the clients you want, the clients you don't want. So why don't you do it now? What are you waiting for? And, same thing with law students. I mean, open your own place now. You're going into combat anyway, and your senior partners aren't going to necessarily be there. And those of you that have been at least, probably out of law school 5 years working as associate for somebody, you already gained some experience, some skills, some familiarity. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? What, the partnership track? Oh, what? They're going to make you a junior partner? You know what that really is? That's just a fancy word for a senior associate. Until you really made like a full equity partner or a full partner, you're still a nobody. And they're not just going to throw you in the mix and just share all the money with you. It doesn't work that way. And if you haven't figured it out by now, as to the aspect on the money and about how it all works, you're in for a rude awakening. So what are you going to do? What's the action plan? Okay, I'm going to tell you what the action plan is. One is, I want you to stand up. I do. Stand up. Go look in the mirror. Look at your body. What shape is your body in? You fat? Out of shape? You look like shit? You got to fix it. I'm going to take hard work. Where are you in being? Seriously, where are you? Do you have any relationship with God at all? Any? Or you just blow it off and think, it's no big deal. There's nothing going to happen. I don't believe in God when I die. I'm like, oh, okay. What about balance? How's your relationship with your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your friends? Is it on fire or is it just a bunch of shit? In business, where are you in money? Because your accounts don't lie unless you fudge the numbers. I mean, you either have money or you don't. You're either living in scarcity or you're living in abundance. It can't be either way. You can say, I'm good. No, you're not. None of us are good. The minute you take your foot off that gas pedal, you're not good. You're just cruising along. So I'm going to leave you with this. If you're under 40 right now, I want you to take a full audit and a full accounting of where you are in body, being, balance, and business. Especially for those of you that are law students or been out of law school for a few years. I want you to take that deep look and write it down. What have you added to your life right now? And what have you lost? And if you're over 40, what do you have and what have you lost? And where are you going? If I'm going to do it, you need to do it. And I've been in this game for a long, long time. I'm not allowing the legal matrix to control me anymore. I'm taking a stand. Legal warriors, a declaration of independence. That's what you need to be. It's what I am. So we can't solve all this in one conversation. We can't solve all this in one podcast. We need to have a conversation. You need to hire me. You need to hire us. We need to give you the skill sets and lead you out of the legal matrix so you can have a life that is thriving, full of abundance in body, being, balance, and business. It's not going to be simple. But rising as a man and woman and being a king or queen of your empires is never easy. There will be the enemies trying to take you down. And they can't take you down if you're strong. And the legal matrix, it's a monster. It's a Goliath. So be the legal warrior that takes a Goliath down. Okay, it's Bryce out. It's great seeing y'all again, hearing y'all again. I wish I could see you, but I can't see you right now, but hopefully soon. And if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Get a hold of me. Let's have that conversation. Let's move you along. Let's get you going. Let's make sure you don't get stuck in the abyss of bullshit with the legal matrix. And I will see you guys on the next episode. This is Bryce Dyer here in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Escaping the legal matrix. Bryce out.